guys saying that one?
I say it Angelov.
Angelov?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of rosters up there, the pink and the blue.
What's pronunciation?
No, I'm saying, like, I don't know if they're better than what we have or they're the same.
I think this is.
I don't like the way they set this up.
It is what it is at this point, right?
Yeah. All right, we got 13:30 on the clock here. So, Tom, I'll bring us in. I'll throw it to you. Then you'll throw it back to me. We'll talk. We'll take a break. Yeah, we'll take a break at the anthem. What was the final score of that game? 41-65. Fifteen seconds.
Is this your playlist? DMV and Marley? I like this, man. You don't hear this too much.
We're live at Apsagami. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel as the Cape Atlantic League semifinals set to kick off. Game number 2, Wildwood Catholic taking on St. Joe in the early game today. Mainland and St. Augustine, the Hermits, knock off the Mustangs 65-41. A 22-0 run kind of powers the Hermits. How did they get that run off the ground? Tom Williams is with Paul Rodeo. All right, Tom, thanks. Coach Rodeo, congratulations to him. They win 65-41 over Mainland. And, Mike, it was, as he mentioned, early Mainland played some really interesting defense, kept it close, and then a 22-0 run powered the Hermits past them as they won 65-41. Mainland shorthanded. It just did not have the best game on the night from a guy like Mazer, who was just 2 of 11 from 3. They really needed him to really shoot the ball well for them to have a shot, and he didn't today. And obviously a favorite in the game, Hermits, St. Augustine, they moved on.
Yeah, you have to tip your cap to Mainland just for getting off to that great start. You know, obviously you mentioned Jay Cook is out. He's one of their top players. And they had sort of that energy, that lift, that emotional lift, if you will, from him off of the top. Jay Cook was in the huddle pregame as the starters were on the court. Dan Williams was there too. And, I'm sure some strong words were said, and Mainland got off to a hot start. But momentum and kind of that, that emotional lift, if you will, can only carry you so much against a talented team like St. Augustine. It would have been a challenge. It would have been a tall order with Cook in the lineup. Without him, Mainland really had to play the perfect game. And you mentioned Mazur. He's been so good for Mainland all season. So just really unfortunate that tonight was the night his shot was just a little bit off. I mean, he played tough. He got rebounds. He dished out assists where he could. But when that shot's not falling from your leader, it's tough to stay in the game. Mace had a decent start, and more than decent, had a great start. But like I said, just tough to sustain that with one of your best players out of the lineup if you're Mainland.
Yeah, Mazur with 8 points, 12 points. Jaquan Mace, he led the Mustangs. 19 for Delaney, 16 for Lamarco Jackson. The Prep improved to 21-4. They move on. They will face the winner of our game tonight. It is 5th-seeded St. Joe against top-seeded Wildwood Catholic. The two teams met not too long ago in Hamilton. St. Joe a winner in that game, and now looking to try to make it 2 in a row against the Crusaders. And, of course, the Crusaders, that's their only league loss, a heavy favorite in the preseason. They played a very difficult schedule, and here they are as a heavy favorite to win this tournament. But St. Joe's is asking, why not us?
It's interesting, right, because St. Augustine is already in the final. If Wildwood Catholic were to advance, I mean, that matchup's already happened. Wildwood Catholic won by near 40. I'm not saying that's going to automatically happen again, but in a way, you almost get the sense that this might be the Crusaders' most difficult game of the tournament, and that's not a knock on St. Augustine, but just based on the games they've played against these teams so far, they took a loss against St. Joe. And look, that was in the middle of kind of a rough stretch for Wildwood Catholic, and I say rough with a little asterisk next to it because they're playing a very difficult schedule. They had just lost to Camden in overtime out at Newman University. They had just lost to the Patrick School up at the Metro Classic in Toms River. So it's just a gauntlet, an absolute gauntlet what Wildwood Catholic has played this year. And we talked about this the other night. St. Joe hasn't played an easy schedule. They've had some tough contests too, but I'm not making excuses for Wildwood Catholic that night. Obviously, they've split the season series with St. Joe so far. And I think, if you ask some of these kids on Wildwood Catholic, they were hoping for this matchup. They didn't know if it would come here in the final, in the first round. That all depended on how the Cape Atlantic League Committee was going to put this tournament together. But certainly when you're Wildwood Catholic and you lose to St. Joe, a quote-unquote upset, you're hoping to get another chance. And here it is, that rubber match tonight.
Yeah, and obviously Wildwood Catholic, everybody looking at them. How tough is it for them to play on the target on the back? Well, they opened up this tournament with a 40-point win against Ocean City, and a lot of people were wondering, it's tough to play through the monotony of a regular season, traveling to Buna and going to Lower Cape May and going through that schedule and looking your best all the time. Well, when the tournament got here, they gave you a glimpse of them playing at their best, beating Ocean City Monday night by 40.
Yeah, no doubt. I believe last year Wildwood Catholic finished the year with either 2 or 3 losses. And look, based on the schedule that Dave DeWeese put together for this team this year, that just wasn't a realistic expectation. I mean, sure, they might have talked about having the same kind of year, but I think, if you're DeWeese and you're the leaders on this team, you don't mind those losses during the regular season in those high-profile games. Would you like to win every game? Absolutely, but you go take those losses because you want to win more important games in the postseason. Wildwood Catholic made it to a South Jersey final last year, lost against a Randy team that had 2, if not more, Division I kids. And they want to make that same run this year, but win that game. So obviously the Cape Atlantic League tournament is first. Wildwood Catholic has won it 2 years in a row, and there's no really easy games per se in the Cal tournament, but that tough schedule is all to prepare Wildwood Catholic for not only this, but the South Jersey and state playoffs in non-public B. Catholic is a 2 seed in South Jersey non-public B, so they'll have home court until the final. You would assume if they get to that final, they're going to play Rutgers Prep, which is going to be a difficult game. And then if they win that, a state final against, you would assume, the Patrick School. So these are all big games down the stretch. And this is a battle-tested Wildwood Catholic team that's taken more losses than last year, but has also played an even more difficult schedule this year.
Yeah, Mike. And, all right, St. Joe won the game in Hamilton. People wondering about what happened, how did it happen. St. Joe's would say, hey, the better team won the game. They believe that they belong on the court with Wildwood and that they deserve to win that game because they were the better team. So is that accurate? Is St. Joe's toe-to-toe every bit as good as Wildwood Catholic? Or did Wildwood Catholic not have did they overlook them? How would you explain what happened in Hamilton? Because a lot of people look at that game and kind of wonder, and I think St. Joe's is feeling that everybody is asking about that game, and they have a chance to show tonight that that game was exactly who they are.
Look, St. Joe really played Wildwood Catholic tough twice. I mean, I wasn't on hand for that second game. I was there in North Wildwood the first matchup.
Was that 101-81?
101-82, but the game was really a lot closer than that for three quarters. I mean, it was still a tight game, and Wildwood Catholic sort of pulled away in the fourth. So St. Joe is a very talented team. You heard Paul Rodeo Sr. say that they're young, and that's accurate. I mean, this is a team with a ton of talent, just not the experience. Daniel Skillings is a sophomore. Marcus Pierce is a junior. Jason Prevard is a sophomore. You know, they only really play a couple of seniors, whereas Wildwood Catholic is mostly seniors with a handful of juniors in there as well. So it's a talented team. Experience-wise, they're not there with Wildwood Catholic, but on any given night, if you have that talent, you can put it all together, and that's what they did that night in Hamilton. Now, you know, if you play a team three times, certainly that's a better gauge of which team is better, and that's if you're in sports and an athlete, that's what you want, right? It's kind of that old boxing deal, right? You beat a guy, then you lose to him, and that contract calls for a third fight. Well, no contract here. It just so happened that these teams meet up in the Cape Atlantic League playoffs. And by the way, Mike, it's not out of the realm of possibility that these two teams could meet again in the non-public B playoffs. It would have to come in the final, but based on the talent of these two teams, it's certainly possible.
We'll take that. By the way, in this game, St. Joe's recently upset Wildwood Catholic 66-58 in Hamilton. They're looking to make it two in a row against the Crusaders, as we chronicled. Wildwood Catholic down St. Joe 101-82 back in January, but they are looking to capture their third straight Cape Atlantic League title and their fourth overall. They won back in 2014 as well. They are led by Taj Sweet, Jalil White, Jacob Hopping, Martin Angelov, Deshaun Lopez is their five, Marcus Pierce, Daniel Skillings, Jason Prevard, Jordan Stafford, and the Keyshawn Griffin is the other starter for St. Joe's. But I want to go back to Monday night because Daniel Skillings is the guy that a lot of people, if you ask, give me one name on St. Joe, he might be the first name, him or Pierce. He did not play in the game against Atlantic City, and they were still able to win that game. What does that tell you about the talent that St. Joe's has and now adding them here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it tells you that they have talent across the board, and it's young talent. I mean, and Skillings is one of those younger players. He's just a sophomore, but Paul Rodeo Jr. has been able to attract these transfers, these big, high-profile transfers. Skillings starting his career, I believe, at Highland. Pierce was a Middle Township kid, and for whatever reason, they've made their way to St. Joe, and that reason is for big games like this. So obviously, it's a team that got the job done against Atlantic City without Skillings, as you mentioned, but you know, the road gets tougher, right? Not only here in the Cape Atlantic League tournament, but in the state playoffs. This is a team that absolutely needs a guy like Daniel Skillings, who's one of their key 1-2 punch, as you mentioned, along with Pierce. You can't really win big games like this without him. I mean, they got Atlantic City the other night. That was a game that went to overtime, so, you know, they got the Vikings kind of by the skin of their teeth. The road gets tougher. Wildwood Catholic, I think anyone around the league would agree, is a better team than Atlantic City. You need a kid like Skillings to step up here tonight. He's back in the rotation, so we'll see what happens for St. Joe.
All right, real quick, Mike Frankel, give me one matchup tonight that you're intrigued by.
I think it has to be the guards. It has to be Marcus Pierce against Jalil White. I mean, Thweet's going to get his on the inside. St. Joe doesn't really have anyone that can really check him. Thweet going to West Virginia, of course. But, you know, that's a matchup at guard. And I don't want to say point guard because Jalil doesn't always handle it. But White versus Pierce could be really one to keep an eye on. Two really talented players. White, of course, going to Temple. Pierce just a junior, uncommitted. But those guys can make a lot of things happen with the basketball.
All right, we'll have the tip-off and the starters coming up next right here on 97.3 ESPN.
guy, White. He's been wearing different uniforms lately. He's wearing number 24 tonight. I mean, I know you recognize him, but he's not in one.
24.
Yeah, I don't know why. He wore a different number in the Camden game. I don't know what's going on with him, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good call. Although I feel like he had a different number on right after, but whatever. How you doing? Have a good one out there.
All right, live here, full house, Apsagami, Mike Gill, Mike Frankel. Matt Ulmer has live video from Ulmer's Appliance Service on our website, 973ESPN.com. Kick back, watch the game on your big screen phone or tablet, or listen to us live on the radio as we take you through St. Joe and Wildwood Catholic. The starters for St. Joe: Dan Skillings, Jason Freevard, Marcus Pierce, Keyshawn Griffin, and Jordan Stafford. For the Crusaders of Wildwood Catholic: Martin Angelov, Deshaun Lopez, Jacob Hopping, Jalil White, and Taj Thweet. They are your starters tonight between 1 Wildwood Catholic and the 5 seed St. Joe of Hamilton. First time St. Joe has been in this game. Obviously, old hat for Wildwood Catholic, and you wonder if there's just a little bit of the nerves on the team dressed in red.
Yeah, you just never know until we tip off here, but so excited to be here that St. Joe has brought its mascot, which I got to tell you, Mike Gill, I've been covering St. Joe athletics for well over 10, 12 years. I've never seen this mascot, so maybe they just got him for this big game tonight. Who knows? But, yeah, you're right. It's a spot that Wildwood Catholic is certainly used to being in. 2-time defending Cape Atlantic League tournament champions. And, you know, there's been some years where Wildwood Catholic didn't get to that final but still got to this game. But this is part of the build for St. Joe. I mean, you have to do this, you know, there has to be a first time at some point, right? And you like that first time, obviously, if you're a fan of the Wildcats, to result in a win here at Apsagami, but still a big stage, a lot of eyeballs on this game. When you look at these 2 semifinals, no offense to Mainland versus St. Augustine, obviously a lot of fans here to see that one too, but this was that kind of juicy matchup, if you will. Everyone wanted to see that rubber match. Who's going to get the 3rd win in the series so far this season?
Paul Rodeo Jr. is the head coach of the St. Joe's Wildcats. He will be opposed tonight on the sidelines by Dave DeWeese. And, of course, we are set to go here in Galloway for the Cape Atlantic League semis, which really the crowd and the feel feels like a finals matchup. The anticipation is very high, and it should be a good one tonight. Once again, St. Augustine is in the finals. They will face the winner of this game on Saturday at 2 o'clock. We'll have it for you live on 97.3 ESPN. Mike and I will be on the call Saturday afternoon. The winner of this one will be there. St. Joe dressed in red with black trim. Wildwood Catholic dressed in white and royal blue as we are set to go at Apsagami. Thweet and Griffin. Thweet and St. Joe wins the tap, and they move left to right to start things off in a 2-3 zone look by Wildwood Catholic. Pierce at the top of the key. Stafford dumps it into the corner for Skillings. Skillings, who missed the last game against Atlantic City, he is back in the starting lineup.
St. Joe facing a much different defense here tonight, of course, against that hard-nosed man-to-man defense of Atlantic City the other night. But as you mentioned, Catholic coming out in this 2-3 look.
A lot of size, a lot of length. 3 ball up to start things off the iron, no good, and the rebound comes down to Taj Thweet. Here comes Jalil White. White all the way, cutting to the middle of the paint. Puts up a layup. It's strong. Offensive board, and it's stolen away. Stripped down, and a steal by Hopping. Hopping with the steal, dumps it to the foul line for Thweet, who dumps it into the corner for Jalil White. Back to White. White 3 ball up, off rim, no good. Stafford comes down with the miss.
Interesting. St. Joe, you know, Mike, they like to get up and down when they can, but right away that time, Paul Rodeo Jr. and Marcus Pierce, after the rebound, said, hey, let's slow it down, let's run our set. I think they want to establish something against this zone defense here before they look to try and run.
Just underway here in Galloway. St. Joe and Wildwood Catholic. Skillings in the corner. Catch, shoot, 3 ball up, good. And Skillings is on the board first with a 3.
And that's his game, really from the corner 3 spot, as good as anyone in the Cape Atlantic League. That's his favorite look. and he knocks down his first.
Angelov leaves it off. Here's Lopez. No look pass down to Thweet. Thweet lost the handle off of Griffin. It'll stay with the Wildcats. 6:20 to play. First quarter, 3-0 St. Joe.
Really think Catholic has to try to go inside out here tonight, Mike. Thweet obviously is going to be checked by some big bodies down there, but he's just so much more athletic than the St. Joe big. So if they can work their offense through him, I think it could be a good night for the Crusaders.
Dribble drive, White kick out to Lopez at the line. Halfway down the paint, he leaves it off for Hopping. Hopping with the ball fake, up and under with the arms. He leaves it off on the left wing for Lopez. Angelov catches the ball, couple dribbles, gets to Hopping. Hopping puts the ball on the floor, stolen away. Prebar with the steal, Skillings with the bounce pass. It's tipped and then run down by Pierce. And St. Joe resets the offense. They lead 3-0. 5:48 to play, first quarter. Into the corner for Skillings, who catches in that same three-point spot. Left-hand dribble, bounce pass to Pierce on the left wing, and he brings it back to the top of the key between the circles. Stared down by Angelov as it seems they switch. Nope, 2-3 zone look. Down on the paint, try to get it to Griffin, and it's tipped out of bounds by Taj Thweet.
Obviously Catholic much more aware of Skillings in the corner that time. Hopping very quick to get out there and try to contest that potential shot.
St. Joe did not substitute very much the other night, Mike. Something to keep an eye on. Depth, and if they go to their bench more.
Yeah, Catholic, by the same token, not a deep team. You know, they'll play 6, maybe 7, but certainly a small rotation all season long for Dave DeWeese.
Skillings catches between the circle, and the shot is well short. It goes out of bounds. Wildwood Catholic will get the ball back. 3-0 the score. St. Joe leads with 5:08 to play here in this first quarter. Here comes Jaleel White walking across the timeline with a left-hand belt dribble. Crosses over, kicks it to Thweet. Thweet goes baseline with a two-hand stuff. And the Crusaders are on the board with the Tomahawk jam.
That's what the Crusaders have to do. Thweet's going to work that baseline. He's going to work that high post. If he catches in there, look out. It's just trouble to try to defend him down low.
Skillings in the corner, and he is pressured, but a foul called on Angelov. It'll be his first, and our first foul of the game.
Yeah, excuse me, Mike. Something to keep an eye on, like we just talked about. You know, St. Joe, they didn't go deep the other night, you know, player-wise, sub-wise, but they have the ability to. They have guys on the bench. Catholic, by the other token, you know, they don't have a lot of those big-name players on the bench, so foul trouble, something to keep an eye on.
Stafford with the ball high over his head on the right wing. Top key for Griffin, not in an area where he wants to handle the ball. Gets it back to Stafford. Stafford crosses over, kicks it in the corner. Pierce thought about a three, almost left his feet, kept the pivot going. Prevard, bounce pass to Griffin, swings it over to Stafford into the corner for Pierce. 4:15 and a steal by Angelov. 2-on-2 and cutting down the left sideline to Jaleel White, and he is fouled.
White's length right now giving St. Joe problems. It was White who actually poked that ball away. Angelov did come up with the steal, and then it's White running the break. I think maybe he wanted a lob on that. Some minor miscommunication between Angelov and White, but still it results in a foul and a trip to the free throw line.
White at the line. First one rattles home. Going to Temple. Throw coming. 3-3. We're knotted. 4:10 left to play. First quarter. Second free throw is good. And Wildwood Catholic takes a 1-point lead.
Good sign for Wildwood Catholic fans to see White knock down a couple early free throws. He was, he had a rough time against Camden at the free throw line. Still had a nice game, but that's a situation where if he does a little better at the line, maybe it's a different outcome. But ice cold knocking down 2 there.
Well, half-court pressure by Wildwood Catholic there. They pull it off back into the 2-3 zone look. Top of the key, Prevard. Prevard at the top of the circle. Leaves it off for Stafford. Back to Prevard. Play and catch. Stafford leaves it on the baseline. Skilling blocked away by White, but his hand went up through the rim, so they're going to call a goaltend.
You don't see that too often, certainly not at the high school level. You're right. I mean, I think that was a clean block, except that the hand was through the rim, so technically you're in the cylinder there.
So the bucket's good. 5-4. St. Joe takes the lead. White backs off. Man-to-man defense by St. Joe. 3-ball up by White. Rattles in and out. No good. Skillings rips down the rebound. Up the far sideline comes Stafford. Into the corner. Stolen away. Intercepted by White. Here comes Angelov. Crosses the timeline and then sets up the Wildwood Catholic offense. Stared down man-to-man by Stafford. Belt-high dribble. Veers off to the right side. Now comes to the middle of the paint. Kicks it into the corner for Thweet. Thweet gives up the dribble. Then he fires a pass down low for White, who couldn't handle it, and St. Joe comes up with the miss. Here comes the Wildcats in transition. Pierce passes low, and it's on the floor, and it looks like it's run down by Pierce. Pierce puts a shot up. He is fouled. The ball goes rolling off the front of the rim, but he'll get to the line.
And that's going to be called on Angelov, Mike, and that's his second already here in this first quarter. A tough call against him. He had the hand straight up, but St. Joe able to force the issue there down low. So already you talk about one of the starters in some foul trouble for Wildwood Catholic.
Marcus Pierce at the line. First one no good. Pierce is a junior. He had 28 the other night against Atlantic High.
Yeah, and if you remember, he didn't really start that game kind of pouring in those points. It was Prevard off of the top, but the longer the game went on, it seemed like Pierce was getting almost every big basket. He's a big game player for St. Joe.
Second one coming, and it's good for Pierce, and Pierce is on the board for St. Joe. They extend the lead, 6-4. 2:45 left to play here in this first quarter. St. Joe in red, Wildwood Catholic in white. If you're watching video on our website, 97.3ESPN.com. Here on the radio, Crusaders move right to left, and a post pass forces a foul as they get it into Thweet, and Stafford gets called for pushing from behind. We're going to get our first sub of the game, Mike. Nikivans Delva into the game.
Yeah, and again, that's trying to go to Thweet in the post there, and it doesn't result in points, but it results in a foul. Again, I think that's how Catholic really has to operate tonight.
They inbound the ball to Thweet, near steal by Delva, who's just in the game, and then Thweet throws one down.
Just unbelievable hops. He seems to do that almost every single night. He seemed to have been doing that since his freshman year, but just so dangerous. If he catches anywhere around the paint, even extended, he's a threat to throw it down.
A one-hand tomahawk jam from the right of the lane, and he ties the game up at 6. 2:09 left to play first quarter. That's the second stuff by Thweet. Crosses over, Pierce at the foul line, kicks it out. Prevard all the way, dribbling, knifing through defenders, and he misses. He's greeted by White.
Paul Rodeo Jr. wanting a foul called against White. The officials are going to say that, even though there was contact in the air, White was straight up, so he was vertical. And then the foul goes against St. Joe as White was able to try and grab that rebound.
Foul's on Delva, the senior who just entered. Now, he barely played against Atlantic City the other night, and yet he's the first guy off the bench tonight.
It's been a changing rotation, based on who's available on any given night for Paul Rodeo Jr., but a lot of different starting lineups this year.
Thweet catches, top of the key, 3, too strong, ripped down by Pierce. Prevard in transition, Skillings bounces to Pierce in the corner, back up to Skillings. Skillings, bounce pass over to Stafford. Up top for Pierce. Zone extended. Pierce spinning into the middle of the zone. He throws a pass low into the corner 3. Prevard, no good. And the rebound comes down for Hopping. Hopping corrals the miss, and it is taken by Balanson, who's into the game for the first time. Try to entry pass into the paint, a stuff by Thweet, and he's fouled. So Hopping recognizes a mismatch in the paint, gets him on the entry pass. Thweet with the stuff, and a 2-point Crusader lead.
Most situations, Mike, most teams, that's not a play that's there, but Hopping and Thweet have been playing with each other for so long that even though that was a difficult play, they trusted one another. Hopping through that pass, there was, it was a contested catch from Thweet, but he knew he had the angle, caught it and threw it down.
3-point play is good as Thweet makes the free throw. 9-6. Wildwood Catholic takes the lead. Near travel there by Pierce, and then he comes across the timeline to catch a pass. He resets the offense. They trail by 3. Under a minute to play first quarter. St. Joe with the ball, moving left to right, dressed in red. Back at top. Here's Pierce. Pierce slowly gets into the corner for Skillings, who snaps a pass right back to Pierce. Uses a screen, top of the key, backs himself back up. 36 seconds to play, first quarter. Pierce cradles the ball, left and right. Now he kick out, down low, nice play, layup is good, and that's a nice pass down into the corner as Jordan Stafford gets a layup.
St. Joe almost rocking Wildwood Catholic to sleep, thinking they might hold for one, and then they attack.
Dribble drive. The layup is short, but the tip in by Hopping is good, and it's 11-8. Right back the other way, Skillings, and his shot is blocked away by Thweet. So back and forth they go on the possession. 8.5 left to play in the first. 11-8, Wildwood Catholic leads it.
Looked like volleyball down there. I think White and Thweet got hands on that block.
Inbounding the ball. They get it to Stafford. Swings it to Pierce. 6 seconds. Pierce puts the ball on the ground. Prevard, 3-ball up. Down it goes. And Prevard ties us up at the end of the first quarter with the score. St. Joe's 11. Wildwood Catholic 11. It's the Cape Atlantic League playoffs on 97.3 ESPN.
The Cape Atlantic League tournament on 97.3 ESPN, produced by Prime Events, brought to you with the best wishes of everyone at Calvi Electric in Atlantic City. Everyone at Calvi Electric encourages you to get out and watch some great basketball this week in the Cal tournament. Winning teams know that the key to success is getting the job done right the first time. Well, for over 100 years, Calvi Electric has applied that philosophy to their business to offer an unparalleled level of electrical expertise and service to every single customer, whether it's a major electrical overhaul, a solar installation, or just changing that hard-to-reach light bulb. Make Calvi Electric a part of your winning team. Call 609-345-0151 or visit calvielectric.com. Old World Tuscany meets Main Street USA at Anata Wine Bar right in the center of downtown Hamilton. The custom-built wine bar says it all, providing each guest with a look, feel, and taste of old world Italian tradition. Anata's premier wine list comprised of over 125 carefully chosen vintages available by the glass or bottle. Enjoy lunch, dinner, and live music. Anata Wine Bar, perfect for private parties. Eat, drink, and be merry with them. The Anata Wine Bar, 216 Bellevue Avenue in the heart of Hamilton. Call them at 609-704-9797 for reservations or to book your next event.
End of one, 11-11. Make a wish. Here's the score. White cuts down the lane to start things off here in the second. Wildwood Catholic with the ball, moving right to left. Thweet with a layup attempt, and it goes down. So Wildwood Catholic comes right out and gets a bucket.
You just have to like, if you're a Wildwood Catholic fan, the level of aggression from Taj Thweet so far tonight. He didn't have a great game in that loss in Hamilton on the road against St. Joe, but he's kind of grabbing this one by the horns, at least so far here tonight.
And we got a turnover on the sideline here as Wildwood Catholic turns up the defense just a little bit more. They lead 13-11, 7:29 left to play first half. White hands it off. Angelov catches. Zafari into the game. Down low, Zafari catches, kicks it out, and Valencia can't hold it, too hot. Skillings gets stripped from the backside by Hopping, and now Hopping goes all the way coast to coast, left-hand layup, and Hopping is on the board.
Great drive, great finish by Hopping. I mean, he maybe had a pass there, but it wasn't a great angle, so he put his head down and he figured he would get to himself.
Skillings pass cross court intercepted by White. White, layup, good. And a timeout taken, Paul Rodeo Jr. 17-11, Wildwood Catholic, a 6-point lead off the turnover with 6:49 left to play. It's Wildwood Catholic 17, St. Joe 11, high school basketball on 97.3 ESPN.
Shore True Value Hardware in Summers Point hopes that you will continue to shop locally. They offer friendly service and expert advice. At Shore Hardware, they'll do anything to help. They're open weekdays until 7, Saturdays until 6, Sundays until 4. Help just around the corner at Shore True Value Hardware, 515 New Road in Summers Point. Call them at 609-927-6464 or visit them online at shorehardware.com. Shoppy's even better online. You've probably visited their showroom at 1031 Shore Road in Linwood, but at Shoppy.com you can select and design your own trophy or award and order it right there. Shoppy's also has a complete line of unique gifts. Give Shoppy's a call, 609-653-1684.
Back to live action out of the timeout. Skillings catches, shoot three, no good. Rebound, White, outlet pass, gets it to Zarfati. Zarfati takes steps as he tried to get a pass over to Hopping, and a turnover.
Yeah, tough break there from David Zarfati. You know, the pass was open in the corner, and then just at the last moment, a St. Joe defender kind of slid into that spot. He was kind of stuck between picking up his pivot foot and getting another dribble down.
6:30 left to play, first half. A little pressure here. Melanson puts some pressure on, and it goes out of bounds. Pierce couldn't catch it, and it rolls out of bounds. So Zarfati stepped right into the passing lane.
Yeah, making up for that turnover a moment ago. Head coach Dave Luis has to love that. You give the ball away, you get it right back for your team.
Angelov back in. Melanson takes a seat. 17-11, 6:20 left to play. First half, White Dribble between the legs at the circles. Leaves it off for Zarfati. Zarfati snap pass over to Jalil White. White entry pass to Thweet, too high, and it goes out of bounds. He tried to get it to Thweet.
Yeah, Thweet's saying that's my bad. I think he mistimed his jump a little bit. The pass was there. It wasn't a terrible pass. It was a little bit high, but Thweet knows that he's usually able to come down with that one.
Dave DeWeese telling him to wait, let that play develop a little bit more. Pierce crosses the timeline, gets it off. Down low, on the block is Prevard, and Prevard, boy, he wanted to go up. He saw White and Thweet and decided against it, and then it caused him to shuffle his feet.
That's going to go in the score sheet as a turnover, but it'd be just as fair to call it a block. Taj Thweet didn't block that ball, but because he was there, the threat of the block was there, and that caused the turnover.
That could be an altered shot, if you will.
No doubt.
Pressure now by St. Joe. They snap the pass in for Thweet. 5:54 left to play first half. 17-11, Wildwood Catholic with the lead and the ball. Moving right to left. Dressed in white. If you're watching video on our website, Matt Ulmer from Ulmer's Appliance has the video. We're on the radio watching right to left action from the Crusaders. Pounce pass down low and a layup by Thweet, and it is a 8-point lead.
Thweet couldn't catch that one cleanly, or else that would have been another thunderous dunk, but 2 points all the same.
Pierce, double team, backs out of it and gives up the dribble. Baseball pass to Skillings. Skillings with a layup. It's short. Another altered shot by White. Here comes Angelov. Angelov splits down the middle. Layup is strong. The rebound by Thweet. He gets his own rebound. The putback strong. And it goes out of bounds off of Thweet. It'll stay off of St. Joe. It'll stay with Wildwood Catholic.
Doesn't it just look like Thweet's kind of on a pogo stick out there? I mean, really, how many players do you see that can just kind of keep going back up and continue to get a hand on that basketball on the offensive rebound? 1, 2, 3 times, can't get it to go, but, Thweet a threat to grab almost every board down there.
They'll inbound the ball. Here comes White. He gets it into Thweet. Thweet has it stared down by Griffin. They hand it off for Zarfati, who gives it back to White, who circles back to the top of the key. Zarfati, left-hand dribble. Zarfati left of the lane, spinning to the middle of the paint, and a layup is good. A 10-point lead for Wildwood Catholic, and they've got a 10-0 run to start the second. Pierce down the middle, loses the handle, rebounds Skillings. He puts it up too strong, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Joe, but this 10-0 run, a lot of layups, Mike.
Yeah, a lot of options, too. We've talked so much about Thweet, but that was Jalil White carving his way down the lane, just so talented with the ball in his hands. He can play that point guard role. He doesn't always handle for Catholic, but he's just so effective as that lead guard. All
right, here we go. Back to live action. 10-point game, 21-11. 4:40 left to play here in the first half. Pierce down the middle, and it is blocked away by Thweet. Run down by Stafford. Skillings into the corner. Back to Stafford. Top of the key. Very active is the Wildwood Catholic defense. Into the corner for Pierce. Pierce now circles back to the top of the key area. 4:20 left to play in the half. 10-point St. Joe's trails. They have the ball, moving left to right, dressed in red. Pierce now veers off to the right side. Left-hand dribble, spins between the circles, leaves it off for Skillings. Skillings bounce pass over to Prevard. Back to Skillings, 3-ball up, and it's good. A second three by Dan Skillings. He has 8.
And a much-needed basket for St. Joe. First points of the second quarter. It took them more than half of the quarter to get those, but big bucket to keep the Wildcats right within striking range here.
Second three of the game for Skillings. Cutting, layup, blocked away, and the rebound is run down by Prevard. Kicked out of bounds by White, and the ball will stay with St. Joe with 3:39 left to play. It's a 7-point game, and St. Joe has the ball. Pierce will inbound, gets it to Jada Byers just into the game, and he hands it right back to Pierce. Crosses the timeline, 3:34 between the circles, left-hand dribble. Gets it off to the left wing. Pierce holds it between the legs. Back he goes, uses the screen, gets over to Byers. Byers with a left-hand dribble, cuts the middle of the paint, and he tries to split defenders, and it's stolen away by White, but he stepped on the end line, and it's going to stick with St. Joe's, but that's a risky pass.
It is. It's a pass that's usually there, though, Mike, against most teams, but Wildwood Catholic is just so long along the baseline. White, it feels like he's not there, but he is. Just the length of him and Thweet down there. White was able to get a tip on that. Unfortunately for Catholic, though, someone's foot was on the line.
And the inbound pass is stolen away by Hopping. Athletic play by Hopping to snag it, and he gets it over to White. White up the sideline. Over, 3. Angelov short, and the rebound. It's taken off of 2 Crusaders. and somehow is staying with the Crusaders.
Yeah, we were blocked out, but I'd be hard-pressed to figure out how that went off of St. Joe. There was a St. Joe player down there, so maybe he was in between the two Catholic players.
Sweet catches, uses the screen, is hopping with the left-hand dribble all the way to the basket, off the backboard, but he's short and he's fouled. You know, Hopping made a big layup in overtime, to extend the game to overtime a couple of games ago. I think was that in the Camden game. And he had a big layup similar to that right there. Yeah,
for people who really haven't seen a lot of Wildwood Catholic this year, but just kind of know a little bit about them, obviously the names that jump off the page are Thweet and White, but Hopping has been so good, certainly in the second half of the season. I mean, he had a huge night in that first time against St. Joe. He's had some big games against the Patrick School and Camden, and he's really been a player that, you know, on some nights where Thweet or White are just a little bit off, Hopping has kept them in games and more.
2 free throws by Hopping go down, and it gives them a 9-point lead, 23-14. 3 minutes to play here in the half. St. Joe brings it up. Griffin fires. Prevard, Skillings, and Pierce. The 5 on the floor, dressed in red for St. Joe. Pierce thinks about a long 3. Now he backs himself up to the 3 line and passes it off to Prevard. Over to Pierce on the left wing. Defended by Lopez. Now he gets a little drive, and he throws it to Griffin. It's tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Joe. 2:42 left to play here in the half. 23-14. St. Joe trails with the ball. Byers the trigger man. And his inbounds pass is batted out of bounds by Thweet.
It's interesting, too, Mike. Alanis Urbonis is a guy who started, played huge minutes in the Atlantic City win the other night, hasn't gotten off the bench so far here tonight. So, again, you talk about these different rotations, game plan specific for Paul Rodeo Jr.
Byers inbounds it to Griffin, and then Griffin fires a pass to Pierce, who leaps up and catches it with one hand and has to tiptoe his way to stay on the right side of the timeline. He does.
Acrobatic is an understatement. I don't even know what you would call that. I can't do that.
Byers, kick out, Pierce, wing, Prevard, back to Pierce. Prevard catches, dribble drive down the lane, and they attack the basket, Mike, and get to the foul line. Maybe you go right at Thweet.
Yeah, when you're struggling offensively, again, just 3 points so far in the second quarter, you're right, Mike. You have to try and get points somehow, so that means trying to get to the free throw line. Wildwood Catholic head coach Dave DeWeese not in love with that call. The official that made it was along the baseline. He must have saw some contact on the way to the bucket.
First free throw's good. 8-point game, 23-15, 22-17 left to play in the half. Quick moving game here. A 10-0 run in this quarter by Wildwood Catholic extended a lead. It was 11-11 after 1. It's now 23-15. Here's White. Jalil at the elbow, spins all the way down the middle of the paint, and he is grabbed and fouled on Pierce. So Marcus Pierce called for the foul. No shot, so they'll inbound it underneath their own basket. 2:07 left to play first half, 23-15. Wildwood Catholic leads and the ball. Thweet inbound to Hopping. Hopping stared down defensively there by Prevard. Hopping at the foul line. A jumper from the free throw stripe. No good. And the rebound snapped down by Byers. Byers in transition. Byers dribbling through defenders, and a foul in transition.
Looked like Jada Byers on the football field there, heading toward the end zone. Full head of steam, and picks up a foul along the way.
Almost got knocked out by Paul Rodeo Jr. He didn't like something there.
Those rodeos never animated on the sideline, right?
Well, he's got his whole gear on still. Jacket, tie, shirt still tucked. Byers kicks out, top of the key for Pierce. Pierce and Skillings at the top of the key. Up top for Byers. Left side, Pierce at the top. Griffin, as they swing it around the top of the key, the time continues to tick here in the first half. 23-15, St. Joe trails with the ball, 1:17 left to play. Now Pierce catches, long 3 for Marcus Pierce.
That's one way to beat a zone. Can't really work your way into that zone, can't get any passes going inside. You take that long 3. I mean, hey, if it goes down, it works.
Left wing, White, Angelov. Down in the paint for Thweet. And Thweet gets his shot blocked by Griffin. The ball bounces off the floor and goes up and through the hoop. Never seen that before.
You're right. I don't think I've ever seen that before. You're just about to credit Keyshawn Griffin, who, is a big football player. Obviously, that's his best sport. He's a big body on the inside on the basketball team, but he got all ball. The problem was he got so much of it, it bounced right off the floor, had the right spin, and went in.
Unbelievable. I mean, the power to bring it down and then the ball to bounce and carry him all the way back up and right through the hoop.
I'll have to check with my guy James Mooney, who's over there shooting for Jersey Sports Zone tonight, to see if he got that one. That could be SC Top 10 material.
I was going to say, somebody send that one in. I don't think I've ever seen that one before. 25-18, 25 seconds left to go. Wildwood Catholic going to hold 4-1 as Lopez stands on the far sideline as St. Joe now moves his feet as Skilling's defending. They get it off to Jalil White. White hands off. Angela over to Hopping. 7 seconds. Hopping puts it on the floor. Hopping loses the handle. And Hopping travels. So 3 seconds left. It's a 25-18 game. And St. Joe is going to get one more possession here in the half.
Yeah, big opportunity here for the Wildcats. Not a lot of time to work with, but if they can get something moving toward the basket, try to get a decent shot off.
Here we go. Pierce, top of the key, and he loses it, squirts out of his hands, and goes out of bounds, so they don't get a good look at a shot, and we get to halftime with the score. Wildwood Catholic 25, St. Joe 18, and it looks like we got the makings of a pretty good one here, Mike. A couple first half thoughts is 11-11 and then a 10-0 run. You don't want to look back if you're St. Joe's and say that 10-0 run was the difference in the game.
Yeah, obviously Wildwood Catholic grabbing control of this game to begin the second quarter there. Thweet with 13 points. He's been so active both in the scoring department and also rebounding the basketball. It also helps when you get your shot blocked and it goes in anyway off of the floor. So fortuitous bounce there, but White's been good. Hopping's been effective. Skillings and Pierce, no surprise really keeping St. Joe in the game so far, but the Wildcats will need to find some tweaks inside against Thweet specifically to try and win this game here tonight.
Yeah, so we got halftime here, 25-18. Wildwood Catholic leading St. Joe. The winner will face St. Augustine, a big winner over Mainland in the first game. Don't forget, Saturday we will have the boy-girl doubleheader for you, noon and 2, right here on 97.3 ESPN and the live video on 97.3 ESPN.com, as we always will certainly bring it to the end, and then the NJSIA tournament the following week. So stick with us. We'll be back with the third quarter and a recap of the first half, the stats, and everything. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel live here in Galloway for the Cal semifinals on 97.3 ESPN.
There weren't many timeouts.
What? Oh, it was unbelievable. Why did you make it out of one channel? It's 5, 6.
No, you just need to listen to me. It's the only way this is working. Remember what I said earlier? You want to stream or you want radio? This works. On the same channel. That's good. That means you have the same level. I don't have to sit there and fight it. No, yeah. I know how to work on it. That was unbelievable.
Crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Blocked it right off the floor.
So hard to see the scoreboard over there. You gotta keep looking over there. sucks about okay, so you can relay this. You can't cast their players on TV. Shore Sports Network. So you have to like sit and resize it on your phone. It won't allow you to expand it. It won't let you do any of that.
You're talking about the Shore Sports Network?
Yeah, it's the same thing as Town Square. They do it on their website. Yeah, but they're using their own player, so you can't. It's this big no matter what, unless you sit there and like. And don't let your phone ring because you got to do it all over again.
What do you mirror it?
Huh?
What do you mirror it?
You can't. It just won't let you.
You can't do like a screen mirror?
Yes. Do you know what the delay would be? Like.
Yeah. You know when we're going back? 2 minutes. Send me this thing. I don't know how they send it. I gotta get 3 more of these. No time out. I was like, what is this? And he showed me like
Who sent it to you? Tom?
and I'm like, what are you sending me? He just showed me it. But this one is our screen, and that one's their screen. Oh, okay. We have 100 people watching ours, and they have 100. And I was like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
One minute. All right.
Check, 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 check. Okay. Ready to go?
Yep.
Are you gonna? Yeah. I remembered what this thing was.
Sweet.
Not sweet, Har. Sweet. I can put the game on. All right, back to Apsagami. Second half, Mike Gill, Mike Frankel. We are at halftime, 25-18 is our first half score, and St. Joe's trails Wildwood Catholic as the winner of this game will head to Stockton on Saturday to face St. Augustine, an earlier winner. But Mike, 13 points for Taj Sweet leading the way with a variety of dunks, a two-hander, a tomahawk slam. He has kind of been the offense of leader for them on the inside. Not a lot of outside game for Wildwood Catholic here. So that's, when you look at it, especially in today's game, for really not a lot of outside game for Wildwood Catholic. They are led in the middle by Thweet, and then 8 points for Skillings. He has a couple of threes, so more of an outside game for St. Joe's. So we got a contrast of styles, it looks like, in this one.
Yeah, no doubt. We talked about Thweet's ability down low off the top, obviously. And, you mentioned it. He can knock down that outside shot. He hasn't had to do that tonight. Hasn't really had any looks from out there. But inside, it's been a tall order for St. Joe to defend him down there. And then even when they do defend him well, in the case of Keyshawn Griffin, just unfortunately for him, the ball bounces off of the floor and in. And again, a play that everyone's kind of buzzing about in here. But, yeah, Thweet has been good inside, and Wildwood Catholic is really working its offense through him. I mean, White and Hopping both with 6 points as well. But really, it's been the Taj Thweet show so far. Just such an interesting pace to this game, Mike. I mean, usually games in North Wildwood at the home of Wildwood Catholic are more scoring, higher scoring games anyway. But it was 101-82 the first time around. It was 66-58 the second time around when St. Joe won. 25-18 here at the half. So we've seen some long possessions, certainly for St. Joe, trying to attack that Wildwood Catholic zone defense. And the Crusaders have taken their time on offense as well. So a slower pace to this one, but still a very entertaining ball game.
All right, we've got couple of interesting numbers in this game. You look at the rebounds, doubled up. Wildwood Catholic 16, just 8 for St. Joe. Also, the turnovers pretty equal, 8 for St. Joe, 7 for Wildwood Catholic. So it hasn't been like there's nothing that really stands out until you look at those points in the paint. 20-4, but 10 points off the turnovers. That's where the turnovers are equal, Mike, but the points off the turnovers have been the big difference in this game, and it was that 10-0 run. We talked about it right before the half. You don't want to look back and say that 10-0 run was what the difference was, but when you look at that scoreboard right now, 25-18, it was 11-11 after one, and right now Wildwood Catholic is using that 10-0 run to have a little separation here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on the face of it, on its surface, 7 points doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's a low-scoring game, it's kind of magnified a little bit, right? I mean, it's still just 7 points, but in a low-scoring game, points are at a premium. So you just wonder what kind of adjustments St. Joe is going to make. It certainly looks like Paul Rodeo Jr. is going to go with the same starting lineup, but how do you neutralize Thweet down low? I mean, maybe you can't stop him, but you try to contain him kind of deal, that old cliche. You do have some size on your bench. We talked about it. Urbanus hasn't played tonight. I saw one of the assistant coaches kind of going over a few things with him just a moment ago. So you wonder if he is maybe that first guy off of the bench to try to grab some rebounds, to try to body up Thweet on the inside and try to slow him down for St. Joe.
And depth, you know, how deep are these two teams going to go? They haven't gone very deep yet. Stamina, who's got more?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, you know, and credit Martin Angelov because he picked up those 2 fouls in the first. He went to the bench, but then he saw some minutes in the second quarter, and he was able to stay out of further foul trouble. So a good sign for Catholic that he still just has those 2 fouls.
Back to live action. St. Joe starts with the ball, moving right to left, dressed in red as they trail 25-18. Start of the third quarter. Stafford, dribble drive, floater, up good, and a foul. So Stafford gets on the board for the second time tonight. He's got 4, and he'll get to the line.
Good aggression right after halftime there to begin the third quarter. I mean, obviously the Wildcats could really use a spark after going into the locker rooms down 7. Stafford providing that spark.
He's a junior. He'll be back next year. He misses the free throw. 25-20, 5-point game. Wildwood Catholic with the ball. You know, you talk about St. Joe's. They got a lot of guys returning. This is a big year for Wildwood Catholic. They got a lot of guys leaving.
Yeah, no doubt. 3 of their 5 starters for Catholic are seniors. The exception is Lopez and Angelov. So not saying they won't make a run next year, but, you know, all the chips are certainly on the table this year for this Wildwood Catholic team.
Hopping at the foul line, gives up the dribble, kicks it to Jalil White in the corner. White with a left-hand dribble, tries to split the lane. He spins and backs his way up, and we got to travel in the middle of the lane.
Good D there from Pierce. Pierce kind of that old pull the chair out move, right? You're bodying someone up, and all of a sudden you give him a little bit of room. That kind of throws the offensive player off balance. In that case, it was White, and he took some steps.
A little pressure from Wildwood Catholic, 1-2-2 trap, and they kind of back off of that very quickly. Stafford with a pass, bullet pass down to Skillings, who wasn't really ready for it, and he was awkwardly puts the layup up and misses. Angelov comes out with the miss, and he leaves it off for Lopez. Lopez sets up the offense. 6:49 left to play in the third. They hand it off. Angelov at top of the key, between the circles. Angelov pull up from inside the three-point line, and it's blocked away, and we got a whistle and a foul as Angelov gets a foul, his third, I believe, Mike.
That's right. So it compounds the problem, obviously. You know, an ill-advised shot. Dave DeWeese not in love with the shot, and then you commit the foul. I understood why he committed the foul, I should say, because, you know, St. Joe was looking for a run out there. But again, when you already have 2, you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. A little frustration.
Stafford catches on the left wing. Stafford tries to split defenders, and he pulls it back out. Leaves it off for Prevard. Cross-court pass to Pierce. Prevard top of the key. Pierce on the wing. Left-hand dribble. Pierce leaves it. 3-ball up for Prevard. 2-point game after the 3. 25-23. 2 minutes gone by here in the third.
Great patience there by the Wildcats. You know, they could have jacked up a 3 earlier in that possession, but they waited for the right moment. Prevard kind of shifted between 2 defenders and hit it.
White tries to answer with his own 3. It's too strong. The outlet pass. Here comes Pierce. Pierce right in the lane, and Pierce is smacked on the floor. A foul on Thweet, and a little momentum shifting to to St. Joe's, and Wildwood Catholic is going to talk things over. They call timeout with 5:50 left to play here in the third. 25-23, Wildwood Catholic leading St. Joe.
Whether you need company shirts, team apparel, event attire, or something in between, One-Off Designs has what you're looking for. Show off your logo in style with One-Off's custom embroidery services. Any order, big or small. They can also add custom names to team apparel or to company uniforms. All of their embroidery is done in-house to ensure the best quality and price. Get a better look at what they offer at oneoffmarketing.com. They're at 5113 Pacific Avenue in Wildwood. Call them at 609-729-8870. It's known all over the Delaware Valley. Johnson's Popcorn on the Ocean City Boardwalk, specializing in their delicious caramel corn. You can get Johnson's Popcorn in individual servings all the way up to 3.5-gallon tins. Look for them in your favorite food market or party store. Johnson's Popcorn, 1368 Boardwalk in Ocean City. Call them at 1-800-842-2676. Johnson's Popcorn since 1940.
Back to live action. St. Joe with the ball coming out of the timeout. They trail by 2. 5:47 left to play here in the third. It was 11-11, then a 10-0 run. Wildwood Catholic has led the rest of the way. St. Joe turns it over. Angela with the steal. Run out. And White's going to get a stuff.
Nice lead pass there from Angelov. He came up with the steal, as you mentioned, and just kind of put that one in the perfect spot. Easy catch for White and an easy flush.
A little pressure. St. Joe's beats it, and between the circles, they get it to Pierce on the left wing. Pierce goes baseline. Pierce, little baseline jumper, and gets that to fall.
Crafty play, too. You don't see that mid-range jumper too much, but Pierce kind of in between a three and a drive, just pulled up, knocked it down.
2-point game, 27-25. Wildwood Catholic leads with the ball. Hoppy gives up the dribble, left to the lane. Cross-court pass, tipped by Skillings, and it went out of bounds. It might have hit Lopez, but now the officials are talking it over. We'll see if they change it, and they do. It looked like it hit Lopez, and they're going to make that change.
And I think everyone on the Wildwood Catholic bench knew it. No argument there. Even Lopez kind of had his head down even after that whistle went for his team. He knew it went off his fingertips last.
Back to live action. Here we go. St. Joe's with the chance to take the lead or tie. Pierce, top of the key, leaves it off for Stafford. Swings it to the top of the key for Prevard. Prevard. Stafford. Prevard on the wing. Back to Stafford between the circles, trying to work the zone, trying to find a little spot in this 2-3. Pierce, baseball pass, and left to the lane, right of the lane, and he walked.
Good defense there from Wildwood Catholic. You know, Prevard really nowhere to go that time. He was cut off by two players. One of them was hopping, and it's tough sometimes in that 2-3 defense to kind of collapse, but that's what Catholic did there, collapsing in the right way, getting in the way of that drive.
Here comes Jalil White bringing the ball up for Wildwood Catholic. They have a 2-point lead and the ball. White gives up the dribble. Now he's pressured, leaves it off for Angelov. Near steal. Angelov cuts down the lane, and he leaves it up for Thweet. Thweet loses the handle, but a foul down low there by Stafford.
Angelov was thinking alley-oop there, and that's maybe the one time ever where Thweet wasn't thinking alley-oop, so he wasn't in the air. He had to kind of collect that and come down with it, and then fouled on the floor.
Inbound to Thweet. Thweet down on the block, and we got a whistle off the ball as Thweet just tomahawked one, but it's going to get waved off.
Yeah, they're going to get Jalil White, it looks like, away from the ball. Possibly an illegal screen. Check that. I think they're going to get Thweet for kind of clearing out to create space for that. So it looks like it was off the ball, but they have 32 up on the board, which is Thweet.
All right, back to Pierce. Pierce over. Pierce at the top of the key. Pierce. Long three. Pierce's front iron, no good. Rebound ripped down by Griffin. Pierce thought about another one, then he rips by the defender, leaves one into Prevard, and he missed a left-hand layup, and then it's trying to rip it out of the hand of Thweet. Thweet gets it out to Hopping. Hoppy, an underhand pass to Thweet, and he went up for a dunk. He missed it, but was fouled en route.
We may have needed a new backboard if he was able to connect on that one. Thweet obviously angry from a call just moments ago, just attacking that rim, but the foul on his way to the rim causing the miss.
So Taj Thweet at the line for Wildwood Catholic. And the first one rattles out.
It's been a game of runs. You know, it was Wildwood Catholic with that run to begin the second quarter, but it was St. Joe answering with a run of its own to begin the third quarter. That's why we have a 2-point game.
27-25. He hits the free throw. 28-25. Wildwood Catholic with the lead. St. Joe with the ball, moving right to left. Here we go. 3:33 left to play in the third. Stafford all the way out. 3-ball Skillings, and he got it. It looked like Hopping had a piece of either his arm or the ball.
The officials think it was his arm. Hopping laughing about it right now. He's going to have to explain himself to Dave DeWeese and company over on the bench, but either way, it's Skillings at the free throw line shooting 3.
Skillings makes the first. He's got 9. He leads all St. Joe scores. Second one is good by Dan Skillings. He is just a sophomore. He's going to be a handful in this league for 2 more years.
No doubt. Just a long wing, can knock down that 3 right now. If he's able to develop a little bit more of an inside game, he'll be really tough to stop.
Makes all 3. We're tied, 28-28. Zarfati into the game. He's got the ball. Leaves it off for Hopping. Hopping between the circles. Jab step to the left wing. Hopping down in the paint, and Griffin.
And that's where Catholic has to go. I mean, that's the matchup that Wildwood Catholic was able to exploit to a certain extent, I should say, in the first half. You know, Griffin, he's doing his best down there, but certainly on the basketball court, you know, Thweet just has some size and some athletic ability over him.
That's the third on Griffin. A turnaround jump shot with the left hand by White. The rebound, Thweet, and he puts it up, but he was fouled. And we'll see if that's on Griffin. It'll be his 4th. And nope, they're going to get Prevard. So Griffin's still out there with the 3. Prevard just picked up his 2nd, and now they're going to get Delva into the game.
A great rebound there by Taj Thweet. I mean, that wasn't a rebound based on athleticism. That was just kind of knowing what kind of bounce that ball was going to take. Thweet, that time, able to time his jump perfectly. There were 2 St. Joe players down there, but it was Thweet timing his jump perfectly and grabbing the basketball.
Griffin comes out, Delva comes in with those 3 fouls. And the second free throw is good. He makes a pair, 2-point lead, 3:07 left to play in the third quarter. St. Joe trails with the ball. Here's Pierce walking it up, crossing the timeline. And Pierce really getting pressured. He needs some help. He gets it off to Stafford. Stafford looking for the trap is Wildwood Catholic. Now the bounce pass, it's kicked away by Thweet, up to Hopping. Hopping trying to advance it, and it's stolen away by Pierce, but a trip, and it's going to go back to Wildwood Catholic.
Yeah, just kind of tripped up from behind that time. Catholic, whether it was Thweet or Hopping, either one could really just come up with that basketball cleanly, but fortunately for the Crusaders, a whistle goes against St. Joe.
Angelov takes a seat. Lopez back into the game. Zarfati's still out there for Wildwood Catholic. Hopping comes back and catches the ball. Hopping between his legs. Left hand, left of the lane. All the way. A running jump layup attempt is too strong, but a foul is going to be called on, looks like, Prevard.
Yeah, Hopping with a solid first half, but still just sitting on those 6 points. So you wonder if a trip to the free throw line can maybe get him going a little bit. We talked about how he's been big in big games for Wildwood Catholic in the second half of the season. Relatively quiet tonight, though.
Hopping makes the first free throw. He's perfect from the line. 3 for 3, 7 points. Extends the lead to 3. And he makes the 4th. So it's his 4th free throw and a 4-point lead. 32-28, 2:37 left to play here in the third quarter. St. Joe's trails with the ball. Up the far sideline and a foul on Thweet. Ooh.
And that's his 4th foul, I believe, Mike. And that's big, obviously, with 2:30 left on the clock here in the third quarter. Check that as 3rd. Still something to keep an eye on. Obviously not as dire, having 3 at this point in the game as opposed to 4, though.
So the 3rd foul on Thweet. Byers splits defenders. Flyers kick out to Skillings. Skillings baseline. Skillings with a baseline jumper. It's short, and the rebound comes all the way back out to Pierce, who saves it, and then it's intercepted there by Lopez. Lopez down the middle, and he is bumped by Pierce. And another foul. So this game has slowed down here in the middle stages of this third quarter.
And now both teams into the bonus. Wildwood Catholic going to the free throw line. It'll be Lopez to shoot 1 and 1. Next Catholic foul would send St. Joe to the line to shoot 1 and 1. So could be a free throw shooting contest down the stretch here, Mike, as we're still in the third quarter. Both teams shooting from the stripe here.
And this is Deshaun Lopez scoring for the first time tonight at the free throw line for Wildwood Catholic. He gives them a 5-point lead with 2:12 left to play here in the third quarter. It has been Wildwood Catholic since a 10-0 run at the start of the second quarter. Second one missed, rebound Byers. Byers splits the defenders, kick it out. Pierce, and now he is trying to get a pass. The pressure tips it into the backboard. Byers has to run it down. Then he fires a pass off the backboard. Pierce runs it down. He throws up a shot. It's short, and the rebound comes out to Wildwood Catholic. The baseball pass is intercepted by Byers. Byers now comes back the other way, and Hopping gets a slap, which was clear, and a foul.
And that'll send Byers to the free throw line to shoot 2. You know, you hate to continue to make these football analogies, but a lot of high school sports fans know Byers from the football field, and as good as he was on offense, he's just as good as a defensive back, so an easy time picking off that pass.
And his free throw attempt is no good as he kind of puts it up there with 2 hands. No good, 33-28. Wildwood Catholic leads with the ball with 1:34 left to play in the third quarter. Wildwood Catholic with the ball moving left to right, dressed in white. If you're watching live video on our website, 973ESPN.com, thanks to Matt Ulmer from Ulmer's Appliance Service, we have the live video for you. Lopez, dribble drive, right hand layup, it's good. And Lopez extends the lead to 35-28.
And I love the strategy there from Wildwood Catholic. Make St. Joe come out and defend you, and then if they do that, which they did, then you get the step, you take advantage.
Byers' scoop shot on the layup attempt is too strong, and the rebound comes down to Jaleel White. White hands it off for Lopez. Back to White, and they slow things down with under a minute to play here in the third quarter. White.
So you think about all the gains that St. Joe made in this quarter, Mike, the run to get right back in it to tie the game, and you look up, it can be deflating because now with under a minute to go, it's right what it was at halftime, a 7-point deficit.
White to Lopez as they continue to stare down the clock, content with just one shot. They lead by 7. Hopping with the ball between the circles. Pierce defending them all the way down the middle of the lane. Hopping slayup is good.
What an effort. Pierce was hanging all over him. Pretty good defense. Could have maybe been whistled for a foul, but Hopping had to contend with that all the way down the lane. Still enough muscle to get it up and in.
Leads up to 9. Stafford leaves it to Pierce. Pierce cross court. Skillings 3-ball up and front rim. No good. Rebound put back up by Stafford, and he'll get to the line as they needed that with 5 seconds to try to get some points on the board before this quarter comes to a close.
Just a little bit of a breakdown defensively from Catholic there because the Crusaders left Skillings in the corner. So if there's one player you don't want to leave open, it's Skillings. Now he missed the shot, but because so many players were chasing out to try to get a hand in his face, Stafford was kind of open down low to get the offensive rebound and draw the foul.
First free throw, no good. 37-28, 9-point game, and the second one rattles home for Stafford. Here comes Wildwood Catholic. Can they get one more bucket? Hopping, square on 3, and he shoots it short. Front rim, no good. And at the end of 3, it's 37-29. Wildwood Catholic leads St. Joe's here in the semifinals on 97.3 ESPN.
Are you hungry for melt-in-your-mouth pot roast or meatloaf just like Mom used to make? Then after the game, head on over to your Egg Harbor Township Golden Corral. They've got all of your home-style favorites, from fried chicken and mashed potatoes to oven-fresh yeast rolls and a chocolate wonderfall that flows all day, every day. Plus, they have strip steak and shrimp on the menu for weekends, sirloin steak at dinner every day, and a customizable burger bar at lunch. You'll find it all at Golden Corral, 6725 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, right in front of Boscov's. Or let Golden Corral cater your next tailgate party. Call them at 609-272-8171 and experience Golden Corral catering today. Cape Atlantic League Tournament on 97.3 ESPN, produced by Prime Events and brought to you with the best wishes of Calvi Electric in Atlantic City. Everyone at Calvi Electric encourage you to get out and watch some great basketball this week in the Cal Tournament. And winning teams know that the key to success is getting the job done right the first time. For over 100 years, Calvi Electric has applied that philosophy to their business to offer an unparalleled level of electrical expertise and service to every single customer, whether it's a major electrical overhaul, a solar installation, or just changing that hard-to-reach light bulb. Make Calvi Electric a part of your winning team. Call them at 609-345-0151 or visit calvielectric.com.
Back to live action, start of the fourth quarter as Wildwood Catholic with the ball. Melanson starts off in the starting lineup for this fourth quarter. 37-29, Wildwood Catholic leads. Fourth and final quarter here in the semis. Melanson, stared down by Skillings. Goes by Skillings, his layup attempt is good. So Melanson just lured him to sleep and went right by him.
and kept that ball outstretched in his right hand. Skillings is so long, Melanson had to kind of keep that one away from him. Great job by the senior off of the bench.
10-point lead as Pierce tries to cut down the middle of the lane, and it's stripped away. Stripped away by White. White gives off to Hopping. Hopping, left of the lane. Hopping with a tough drive. Left-hand shot, no good. Rebound, Thweet. The putback, too strong. He couldn't get the rebound to go, but it's knocked out of bounds. And it will stay. Nope, it's going to go back to St. Joe. Mike, you had 101 points scored in the first game by Wildwood Catholic. The second game, a little bit more. This is a very low-scoring game for these two.
It is, and Thweet's had a couple times here in this second half, Mike, where he's had 1, 2, 3 offensive rebounds, just some tips, and for whatever reason, they just have not been rolling in for him. His team, though, still up by 10 here, which is a wide margin in a game like this.
Into the corner for Skillings. He's got a couple of threes tonight. Griffin back into the game. Skillings deep into the corner. 3-ball. Stafford, down it goes. And Stafford keeping the Wildcats in the game with that three. 39-32. 6:33 left to play in the game.
Man-to-man now from St. Joe, Mike. It was some of the game. They've mixed it up a little bit, but now going straight man as they try to claw their way back.
Angelov dribbling, right-hand dribble, veering off to the right-hand side, back and forth. Here comes Thweet with the screen. Angelov uses it between the circles at the top of the key, and a timeout taken by Dave DeWeese and the Crusaders. 6:09 left to play in the game. 39-32, Wildwood Catholic leads St. Joe on 97.3 ESPN.
Old World Tuscany meets Main Street USA at Anata Wine Bar right in the center of downtown Hamilton. The custom-built wine bar says it all, providing each guest with a look, feel, and taste of Old World Italian tradition. Anata's premier wine list comprised of over 125 carefully chosen vintages available by the glass or bottle. Enjoy lunch, dinner, and live music. Anata Wine Bar, perfect for private parties. Eat, drink, and be merry with them. The Anata Wine Bar, 216 Bellevue Avenue in the heart of Hamilton. Call them at 609-704-9797 for reservations or to book your next event.
All right, Mike, we got 7-point game, 6 minutes to go. As we talk about a low-scoring game, and you wonder who would this favor? And St. Joe, a team that wants to shoot the ball outside a little bit more, while Catholic likes the inside game. So it'll be interesting to see these final 6 minutes.
No doubt. I think the Crusaders obviously not in a hurry here, going to run their sets and take their time with it.
As White dribble drive right by Pierce, and his layup is too strong, and the rebound comes down to Stafford. Leaves it off for Pierce. Pierce bounces it over to Griffin. Back to Pierce. 7-point game. St. Joe with the ball into the corner. Down low for Skillings. Skillings with a little left-hand scoop shot and gets that to fall.
Crafty on the inside, kind of faked Thweet out. Thought Thweet thinking maybe he was going to go up right after the catch, but he sort of spun right into the lane, and a nice finish.
Cuts the lead to 5. Wildwood Catholic with the lead and the ball. 5-point lead. Taj Sweet thinks about a 3. Now pumping. Now he'll take the 3 and splash. Down it goes for Thweet. Now you wondered, you just say, you know what, if you want to take that shot, go ahead, or you got to come out and defend it.
I think if you're St. Joe, you have to contest it because he can knock it down. Just so many fakes he finally fired.
Pierce takes it to the hole, stripped away by White. Hopping out in transition, hopping into the corner. 3-ball, Angelo, up and good. He hasn't hit a lot of them, but that one could be a dagger as Martin Angelov, his first points of the game come with 4:56 left in the fourth, and it extends the lead to 11, the largest of the game for the Crusaders.
Shore True Value Hardware in Summers Point hopes that you will continue to shop locally. They offer friendly service and expert advice. At Shore Hardware, they'll do anything to help. They're open weekdays until 7, Saturdays until 6, and Sundays until 4. Help is just around the corner at Shore True Value Hardware, 515 New Road in Summers Point. Phone 609-927-6464 or visit them online at shorehardware.com. Shoppee's even better online. You've probably visited their showroom at 1031 Shore Road in Linwood, but at Shopee.com you can select and design your own trophy or award and order it right there. Shoppee's also has a complete line of unique gifts. Remember, you're not presenting the finest trophy unless you are presenting a Shoppee trophy. Phone 609-653-1684 for Shoppee's since 1921.
So Angelov for 3 extends the lead to 11.
Had to feel good, too. It's been a frustrating game for Martin Angelov. Scoreless, as you mentioned before that, in a bit of foul trouble, too, but big-time make there from the junior.
Back to live action with St. Joe. with the ball, down by 11. And a near steal. The ball comes popping out to Prevard. Pierce's layup shot is too strong, and here comes 2-on-1. Hopping, right-hand layup, good.
Just textbook fast break right there. White, I don't think he even put it on the floor, just found Hopping and Hopping right up for two.
47-34, Wildwood Catholic extending the lead, and then down the middle of the paint comes Stafford, and he's fouled.
So lower scoring, Mike, but this game playing out similarly, at least to this point, as round one did in North Wildwood back in mid-January. That was a very close game right until the early parts of the fourth quarter when Catholic really put a big run together to create some separation, and that's what's happening at least to this point so far again tonight.
Bonus into the game for the first time for St. Joe. The free throw attempt is too strong, and Hopping comes down with the rebound. Here comes Jalil White. White right in the lane. White all the way to the bucket. White's shot is up and good. Boy, a tough shot by Jalil White.
Good discipline from Thweet, too, because he wanted a follow-up jam, but he kept his hands off of the basketball. It was over the cylinder, and it ended up dropping for White.
15-point game all of a sudden. Pierce leaves it off Stafford. Stafford steps into a three. It's too strong. The rebound to White. Outlet pass for Hopping. Hopping leaves a ollie. Oop down. He can't get it to fall as Thweet was just a little too far from the rim.
Maybe if that was Zion Williamson, maybe he throws that down. Thweet's a good dunker, but not quite to that level yet.
Jump ball on the kick out. Run out, I should say. And the arrow favors the Wildcats.
Just goes to show you the talent, and the spurt ability, if you will, from a team like Wildwood Catholic. This was really a close game for most of the night, but some of these guys get going. If they all get going at the same time, look out if you're the opposition.
Pierce's pass is tipped away. Hopping one-on-one to him in the basket and a layup. Hopping extends the lead 51-34.
And they put the hammer down, too. I mean, you get the lead and you get the advantage and you just keep going. You put a team away. That's what the Crusaders at Wildwood Catholic are doing.
Another steal. Behind the back pass, White and a stop. Two-hand stuff by Thweet. And Deweese takes a time out. And the Crusaders lead all of a sudden by 19. 53-34 with 3:11 left to play in the game.
Whether you need company shirts, team apparel, event attire, or something in between, One-Off Designs has what you're looking for. Show off your logo in style with One-Off's custom embroidery services. Any order, big or small. They can also add custom names to team apparel or company uniforms. All of their embroidery is done in-house to ensure the best quality and price. Get a better look at what they offer at oneoffmarketing.com. They're at 5113 Pacific Avenue in Wildwood. Phone 609-729-8870. It's known all over the Delaware Valley, Johnson's Popcorn on the Ocean City Boardwalk, specializing in their delicious caramel corn. You can get Johnson's Popcorn in individual servings all the way up to 3.5-gallon tins. Look for them in your favorite food market or party store. Johnson's Popcorn, 1368 Boardwalk in Ocean City. Call them at 1-800-842-2676 and have your popcorn shipped to you. Johnson's Popcorn since 1940.
53-34. St. Joe with the ball. They trail with 3 minutes left to play. Wildwood Catholic has just gone on a run here to really rip this thing open. Into the corner of Bonus. Three ball, Pierce. Off the back of the iron, no good. Rebound is up, and Lopez is going to get called for the foul.
Loose ball foul there. Lopez holding his mouth like he got popped in the mouth. He's as surprised as anyone about who that foul was called on. But it goes against Wildwood Catholic. It'll be two shots here for Stafford.
First one is good. We'll get you to the Sixers after us, but they've got bad news too. Joel Embiid has left the game with an injury, and they are trailing in Cleveland tonight, 55-44 at the half. So Embiid is hurt and out of the game. He has not returned. Back to live action here, 53-35. Pierce, no-look pass, down and a layup for Stafford. Nice dribble drive and dish by Pierce.
Now, obviously, the Wildcats have to try and turn up the pressure defensively. Easier said than done, but already St. Joe kind of dropping back into a half-court defense. I think you have to try to make something happen right now. You have to try to speed Crusaders up.
53-37, and Lopez's pass is tipped by Pierce goes all the way to the bucket, and he misses the layup. He hits the deck, and White comes up with the run out. White, 2-on-1, and another two-hand power slam by Thweet. Back the other way, Pierce with the old college layup. Slap in the backboard. Hopping comes back, 1-on-1. Hopping, now he pulls it out and slows the pace down. 55-39, 150 left to play in the game. Thweet down in the post. Should be White down in the post. Cutting down the middle of the lane. Hopping left-hand layup is good. 18-point lead, 57-39. Just like that, it's a 18-point game. Boy, this just got out of hand in a hurry. Skilling's three, down it goes.
I think St. Joe is sort of knows what's happening here. Not even a timeout called after that one, and just Catholic too much here in the fourth.
White dribble drive all the way to the basket, too strong. Here comes the run out. Pierce in transition, 3-on-1. Pierce leaves it, and a layup by Privard. 57-44. Time continues to tick. 1:05 left to play as Wildwood Catholic dribbling through the pressure, bounce pass up to Angelov. Angelov with a alley-oop, one-hand stuff for Thweet, and he timed it perfectly on the baseline, and Angelov connected.
Thweet has to have 6, 7, 8 dunks, but that was his best of the night. Great lob from Angelov. Thweet, my goodness, that did look like Zion.
Three ball up and rattles home for Privard. And a 59-47 after the three. 30 seconds to go. Wildwood Catholic is going to advance as Hopping takes it all the way down, and a stuff by White. The exclamation point as White gets in on the action.
It was a low-scoring game, wasn't it? Not going to be able to tell.
Pierce's three is long. The rebound comes down to Lopez, and the Crusaders are going to advance to the championship game on Saturday at 2 o'clock, and they will face the Hermits of St. Augustine. The final score, it is Wildwood Catholic 61 and St. Joe 47. The Crusaders are in the final, Mike, for the third straight year.
Mission accomplished for Wildwood Catholic. You know that loss to St. Joe stung. It was a tough stretch there for Wildwood Catholic when they took that loss. They were coming off a loss against Camden. Prior to that, it was against the Patrick School. It was just a rough stretch, and credit St. Joe for picking up that win at home, but you just got the sense that Wildwood Catholic would have loved to get another crack at the Wildcats. The way the seedings sort of shook out, you knew the possibility was there. And Wildwood Catholic taking care of business here tonight. Again, give the Wildcats credit. They hung in there for 3 quarters, but Catholic, too much talent down the stretch, winning this one going away.
61-47, the final score here in Galloway tonight. 16 points. Jacob Hopping had a real